Hi, we're here with Chief Justice Maureen O'Connor of the Ohio Supreme Court, and she was just at the bar luncheon and announced a 3-point plan that she's going to be promoting in the legislature this year. Chief Justice, could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's 3 points that have evolved over the last year from the 8 talking points that I mentioned a year ago when I was speaking to the OSBA. The first is to have judicial elections move to the top of the ballot, which would take a statutory enactment to do that. And the second change along with that would be that judicial elections would then be moved to what is now termed the odd years or the off-year election. So those years, the odd year elections, would then be renamed the judicial year elections, and we think that that would generate a significant focus on the judiciary. Right now they get lost in the shuffle, they get lost in the mix, and we can't compete with the presidential messages down to the gubernatorial, to the senatorial, congressional, etc. Judges don't get the opportunity to get their messages out, and therefore voters don't know as much about the judicials and the candidates as they need to. The second component of this would be to establish a website that would be housed at the University of Akron with the Bliss Institute, and that entity would be the repository of information about any candidate for the judiciary, so that voters will have a one-stop shop where they can go and learn about the candidates, compare the candidates, link on to the candidates' websites, learn more about who has screened them and endorsed them, etc. It would be a fabulous resource. And that website would also be a source of information about the role of a judge, what a judge does, how to, what matters for the judiciary, and give them a civics lesson about our judicial branch of the government. And then the third proposal is to increase the number of years, and this has been, knocking around for quite some time. Bump it up from 6 years to a higher number for members of the judiciary, both the common pleas, the appellate, and the Supreme Court.
I actually worked on a bill like that with Bill Seitz when I was in the legislature.
Okay, that's long ago. Yeah.
There was some support for it, but maybe it's better time now.
I agree. I think that it is something that resonates, and we've got a lot of support for that in our comments.
Now, there were a few items on your 8-point list that obviously didn't make the cut. Were there a few of them in particular that you saw that you'd like to see maybe have some action in the future, maybe just not right now?
Well, the ones that we have jettisoned, you've got to be practical, and I'm not going to tilt at windmills here when it comes to improving the judiciary. And I'll tell you the obvious is that we're going to retain elections here in Ohio. That's what the voters want. So that's the premise, and we start there and say we're not going to go to mayor's election. We're not looking at that. Voters have twice rejected that. Latest polls say 80% of the voters would reject that. So let's keep the elected system. Let's improve it to the best of our ability. I'm very concerned that we have this hybrid system. It's the only system in the country where we identify political affiliation for the primaries and no political affiliation for the general. Everyone agrees, all the judicials agree, that politics has nothing to do with being a judge, and that identification, I think, sends a miscue to the public.
Well, Chief Justice, thank you for all your work, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Great. Thanks, Todd.
All right,
appreciate it.